We're going on to consideration of ordinances. Consider passage of the following ordinances related to the fiscal year 2019-2020 budget. Item 30.
An ordinance adopting 2019-2020 pay plans for general government employees effective October 1st, 2019, providing flat, fixed pay adjustments for certain employees in hard-to-fill positions and providing market adjustments, merit increases, and training pay for certain public safety dispatchers, adopting revised pay plans with market adjustments for commissioned police and fire personnel effective January 1st, 2020, providing step increases for eligible commissioned police and fire personnel effective on their respective anniversary date, and providing increased prior and current service annuities under the Texas Municipal Retirement System for qualifying retirees and beneficiaries, which includes a cost of living adjustment at the 50% level.
And as I read to start this section, this is the night that we vote on our budget. Staff started this about a year ago almost. We started working on this probably, in essence, about 4 months ago. So tonight all these ordinances, and there may be other comments, are about the things that we're doing to get our budget in place for October 1 of this year. So I have a couple of people. Councilman Archer.
Thank you, Mayor. First, I've got a comment and then a question. First of all, I want to agree with Mr. Green's eloquent words and say that I'm also glad that our city manager and staff was able to do a little bit more for our dispatchers. However, as I said during our pre-meeting, I'm not satisfied. I don't want any of us to be satisfied. Let's keep working to do much more that we need to do for those very critical employees for our city who deal with all of us in our most vulnerable and difficult state from time to time. So I wanted to get that thought out there. And then two, for our retirees, could Ms. Maul kind of explain kind of what the 50% level would mean to the average retiree? I've had a few questions about kind of what that means for retirees.
Sure. Good evening, Mr. Archer. I'm Debbie Moll, Director of Finance. So with the retirement plan, the COLA is a cost of living adjustment. So let's just say, for example, the United States has a 3% cost of living increase. So we're saying by this that our retirees would experience a 1.5% increase in their annual annuity. And that's different for every retiree depending on their annuity payments.
Great. Thank you so
Okay.
much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilman Miklos. Deputy Mayor Pro Tem.
It's okay.
I know.
There just should be an acronym.
DP, DMP.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Okay, I figured out.
It would sound cooler that way. No, I want to second what Councilman Archer's saying. Kenny Green, I mean, I appreciate the dispatch, and I just want everyone to know that hopefully we're going to have an opportunity, let's say mid-year, if we get, and cross our fingers, if some of these developments really take off, if we continue to have, we've increased certain permit requirements, we're dealing with the certain patch pay at our next meeting as an adjustment, and we can always, and I want to, look towards an adjustment mid-year to continue on with dispatch. I'm not satisfied with it. This isn't the amount that I wanted. I think that we've got to, when we hear that we sent out 100 applications and we had one person come in, there's a pay problem. And they're the first people to pick up the phone. They're the people who are skilled, qualified. They're our first line of defense. And they do an incredible job, and we need to take care of those folks. So I just want to let you know, and I appreciate your comments, but also I'm not done. I'm not done with looking at the pay and adjusting the pay, and hopefully we're going to have some good. And last year we had that. We had some ability to make some upward adjustments in other areas, and so that's my intention to do that as well. Just so you know, and in response to your comments. And also, we're going to take up the certain patch pay for the firefighters, the EMTs, at our next council meeting as well. So look for that as well. Thank you.
Any other comments, or I'd entertain a motion on that?
I just have a quick question, and this is for the city manager. Just so I understand, we had 100 people apply
It's
Or
my
are we sending
understanding we
out
had
applications, or what's?
no,
so I have a better
we
understanding
had,
of the process.
and I'll double check with HR just to nod your head if I'm close, but it was over 120 people filled out applications and began the process. And through that process, we were only able to get one candidate through
Okay.
the process. That
Well,
means a
and I-
background check and
Okay.
drug test.
So, yeah, what I'm trying to figure out is that the market saying that pay is not high enough? Obviously, I think from our anecdotal conversations with dispatch, we know it's not, but that 120 that are getting weeded out, they're not like figuring out the pay and they're like, whoa, I'm not applying here.
No, sir. It's our belief that those were people who were interested in working for us at that pay level. If we increase the starting pay, I believe we'll
Even more
attract
competitive.
candidates who
And a higher
can
quality, sure.
pass the background check and drug test.
Okay, thank you.
Councilman Archer.
Mayor, I was just going to move that we approve if there's no other discussion.
We have a motion for approval on item 30.
Second.
We have a second. Any other discussion? If not, please cast your vote. And that item passes 6-0 with Councilman Mayor Pro Tem Burrows abstaining from that vote. Item 31.
An ordinance establishing a bilingual assignment pay program for the Mesquite Fire Department and authorizing assignment pay for commissioned firefighters and general government employees of the Mesquite Fire Department who have satisfied certain criteria and who have been assigned to perform the specialized function of translating certain languages as part of their duties for the Mesquite Fire Department.
And I think that's great. We have I think our police have something similar to this, and being bilingual is a tremendous asset in our community, and as it is in most communities throughout North Texas and throughout our country. So I think it's great that we're able to do that, and I applaud those that can learn a second language. I joke, mi español es muy poquito, so that's about all I can say. Yeah. Any other comments or questions? If not, I'd entertain a motion on item 31.
Move to approve 31.
Councilman Oliver, Councilman Archer. All right, any other discussion? If not, please cast your vote. There you go.
Almost got the motion, so I'm going to go ahead and do the second.
There you go. And that item passes 7-0. Item 32.
An ordinance amending Section 2 of Ordinance Number 4361, increasing the assignment pay for members of the Mesquite Fire Department who satisfy certain conditions and criteria and who are assigned to perform the specialized function of a paramedic actually assigned to the designated frontline ambulances during working hours. Frontline ride-out ambulance services.
Item 32, we heard a little bit about that earlier. There's other things that we'll be considering in the future meetings. Do we have any other discussion, or do I entertain a motion?
Move to approve.
Councilman Archer?
Second.
Second, Councilman O'Shea.
And Mayor, I just have a quick
Yes, sir.
comment. For me, I'm not going to support this motion, or if we do patch pay next time. For me, the market is saying that we have a very competitive pay for firefighters. When we give a test, we see a lot of applicants sit for that, and I think this amount should be going to dispatch. So that's my opinion.
Thank you. All right, please cast your votes for that. And that item passes 6-1. Mr. Casper voting no. That item passes. Let's go to item 33.
An ordinance providing funds for fiscal year 2019-2020 by adopting and approving the budget for said period and appropriating and setting aside the necessary funds out of the general and other revenues of the city for said fiscal year for the maintenance and operation of various departments and activities of the city, for capital and other improvements of the city, and for all other expenditures included in said budget.
Comments, questions, or do we have a motion from anybody?
Move to approve.
Thank you.
Second.
We have a second by Mr. Councilman Oliver. Any other discussion? If not, please cast your vote. And that passes unanimously 7-0. Item 34.
An ordinance ratifying the property tax revenue increase reflected in the fiscal year 2019-2020 budget.
Comments, questions, or motion?
Move to approve.
Councilman Alleman?
Second.
Second by Mayor Pro Tem Burrows. Any other discussion? Not, please cast your vote. We may get this budget approved yet. That's unanimous, passes 7-0. Item 35.
An ordinance levying the ad valorem taxes for fiscal year 2019. I'm sorry, let me start over. An ordinance levying the ad valorem taxes for tax year 2019, fiscal year 2019-2020.
This is not the one that has wording, is it?
It is.
Okay.
And it turns out no one wants to particularly say this wording during a campaign year, and so I'll take the bullet for this. But let me just say, the state legislature does require us to say certain language. And for me, I think it's put into context of a lot of times they like to demonize city government and push unfunded mandates towards us. And so listen real carefully to how the language is worded, because I think it's divisive in its very nature. Because what's really happening is our property values have gone up. Mesquite's a more desirable community to live in, to work in, to play in. And as a result, I and you will pay more in taxes, not because the rate went up, but because property values went up. So here's their language. I move that the property tax rate be increased by the adoption of a tax rate of .734 per $100 of evaluation, which is effectively a 5.64 increase in the tax rate.
That's the motion.
I'll second it.
And we have the second. Mr. Noche?
I was going to jump on the grenade and second that.
The other council member that won't be back in a month and a half, is that right? I know we have a vote coming up, but, you know, it's fascinating that, you know, all of it, the homeowners and business owners and things in town in any city, as the rates and values go up, it doesn't mean that your house necessarily went up. It's staggered. So yes, some people get 5, 6, 7, 8%, but some people get 0 this year, and they may have got 0 last year, but it's 3 years, I think, is the cycle. So if you get those valuations in October, and they're coming here pretty quick, you can kind of see what your particular valuation will be.
And Mayor, Cliff, too, when is the last time the .734 rate actually changed?
Last year, 2 years.
Not because of street bond. When is the last time this body,
You mean
not voters, actually increased the tax rate? 2008.
2008 was the last time we
Everything
raised
else has
taxes
been
for
voter-approved
operating
street bond or property value increase.
Yes.
Councilman Miklos, your lights on.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm going to take a little different tact on it, and I appreciate all the comments and diving on grenades and all of that. I remember shows in the 60s and 70s that had that, so I appreciate all of that. As we build, and especially as we build along Interstate 20, but not just Interstate 20, we saw other projects tonight in other areas of town. Those new tax dollars that come in, the first year that they come in aren't part of the 3.5%. And as we meet the challenges of allowing developments and having that added tax revenue from those new developments, we also have the challenge of having our budget and planning ahead in our budget to meet those circumstances. And that's very important. We talk a lot about how our new development, bringing in new businesses, and we brought in several tonight, add to our tax coffers and add to the number of police officers that we can have in our town, and how much quicker we can fix the roads in our established parts of town. And that's all very important. And so a city council that has a trajectory of bringing in development that not only pays for itself, but provides tax dollars for the rest of the city actually benefits all of us. And I want to applaud the entire city council for having its eye on that. We allow personalities sometimes, and we may disagree on the particulars, but I am confident that everyone up here wants to not have to raise the tax rate, but to see more revenue from new development coming in to fix the streets that we have, to hire more police officers from our community, to have rec centers and other items to benefit all of our citizens. And so I'll support this motion, and I will hopefully look towards the years ahead when this tax rate can start coming down because we brought in so many new businesses that serve the community. That's what I look forward to.
Here, here.
Exactly. And that's a great comment, because we've, the last 4 years, have brought in many, many businesses, and they're still coming. I think that's a great comment.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate that very much. So we have a motion and a second, so please cast your vote. We're on item 35. And that item passes unanimously. Item